I don't know when we're announcing the big news. I don't think we are yet.
Nate teases a huge future announcement that will impact the game. Match play is still a thing despite you forgetting about it, and a little bit more this week in disc golf. How's it going, disc generates, and welcome to the channel. For the ones of you that are new, they call me Swiss cheese because of all the holes in my game, but most importantly, I'm with the disc golf world. You guys know that one disc golf YouTube channel that has a nephew and uncle that turned coverage of the sport on its head. And you're watching This Week in Disc Golf, where I cover all things disc golf from the past week, which also featured a release announcement coming out of Krokol. Yes, the #1 course in the world, as they collaborated with Happy with Par for some new merch, which is already one of the game's sickest designs, as the two truly have outdone themselves. And of course set for sale today, this Friday. And while you're at it, why not pick up one of our pre-sale Worlds or Bust shirts also? Because we, like the famed European track, collaborated with Happy with Par also. And no, that wasn't a paid advertisement, just game recognizing game. But I'll put it out there for the rest to hear, Disc Golf World's always for sale. Disc Golf saw some battles overseas at Ale that we covered already in Monday's recap. So let's get into some of the surprises that came out considering an off week here in the States. One that may not have been on all your guys' radar or missed completely altogether if you weren't paying close attention was dgbt's commentator Nate Perkins nearly letting the cat out of the bag on his and Brian Earhart's All Birdies No Bogeys podcast.
The first major coming up is going to be theirs in Wisconsin, and it's going to be good television. And I don't know when we're announcing the big news. I don't think we are yet. We're not yet. Okay,
cool.
That's
perfect. Nicely.
In a sport where you often need to read in between the lines of the statements provided by its biggest personalities, Perkins instead nearly releases a future announcement that alludes to something big on the horizon. And judging by both his and Brian's responses to our post, something large enough to impact our game. And I would love to say that we know all about it, but the reality is, if you haven't been following us long enough, the dgpt or the pdga for that matter has little desire to include us on any of these details. So I just want to make it clear, I'm speculating here, just like all of you. But all I'm really hoping for is not a Gibson-esque offseason letdown, as many in the sport and the community for that matter are over the tease of revolutionary change that is just a mere announcement that often comes with an exclusive stamped disc attached. But our sports fan base is more informed than ever on the game's current topics, with a bulk of them newer to the game in a sport whose history hasn't been documented well enough, all resulting in timid or lukewarm responses to past announcements just this last offseason that many of the old guard considered game-changing. Could this latest future announcement that I'm expecting to be dropped sometime early next week be more of the same? If I'm being honest, most likely, especially with the rumor mill surrounding it yet to hit our DMs. But allow me to do my part in promotion of the sport and speculation just exactly what this future announcement just might hold. If only because I know the dgbt is watching, and I'm trying our best to make things less awkward for Jefferson when he shows up at the preserve. And be on the lookout for your boy, minus the media vest, while you're out there. So let's just get into what I expect to be the top 3 most likely announcements, and while I'm at it, how about a top 3 of what it really should be also? Let's get the easy one out of the way, and also the most likely of the top 3 with a future sponsorship or TV affiliation, which has already been seen this year with iWare's Zene sponsorship being attached earlier at the start of the season, among others. And though it would take a major name to turn heads or make an impact on fans, the topic has been a major issue for many in the community for years now. And with USWDGC around the corner, maybe a sponsorship or company attached to just the FPO side might be big enough to create at least a ripple in our sport. But judging by the comment section or the lack thereof altogether, very unlikely. But a major company sponsorship, additional funding would go a long way and a reason enough for the tease. And with the World Championship a little over a month away, it wouldn't be surprising that this latest news be attached to that event also. Most might be crossing their fingers for free live coverage of the World Championship, some going as far to say that it should be. But the reality is, simply that's just not going to happen. Instead, this announcement could revolve around a TV affiliation for a future broadcast, similar to that of the CBS Sports one in the past. And sure, you and I may understand, unless it's on ESPN, and I'm not talking the Ocho, that wouldn't necessarily move the needle. But if our sport can't capitalize on what is already anticipated as the largest disc golf event ever, we really don't deserve to be mainstream, or even less of a fringe sport than we already are. With match play this week, a future content creator event also scheduled, live practice rounds, and calls for some version of a team aspect in our sport, could this latest future announcement be something along those lines? Possibly. It's evident that these midweek events or promotions are trials for something even larger in the near future. Does the timing of this type of announcement line up? Not really, but also could be a large of an impact to shape our sport, as it has been alluded to. A team event, if done properly with promotion, funding, and enough innovation, could create an interesting announcement. But again, seems unlikely to be announced at this time in the season. Wouldn't it be better PR move to wait till the end of the year or off season altogether to properly promote? But again, the public's desire for any semblance of a team aspect might be large enough to promote at this time. The final and third anticipated possible announcement could revolve around next week's major and its future. Further examination of the timing of when this was said in the podcast and when it was mentioned alongside with the USWDGC upcoming, this does seem to hold more weight than the other two considerations. Many have called for Throw Pink's inclusion to a major status, despite not fully recognizing just how large USWDGC is. Moving that all together, or moving it to Winthrop, just doesn't make much sense, nor does handing the FPO a fifth major either. But could there be a restructuring of USWDGC to not include the pro division, converting it to an amateur major instead? Maybe. Sure, it involves many moving parts, including the PDGA relinquishing its authority to do so. But with vocal pressure that gets louder and louder each year at Winthrop, along with Innova's willingness to come to the negotiation table, it just might be. And certainly large enough of an announcement to justify the chatter on the podcast. Now, let's get into my top 3 of what this announcement really should be about. Number 3 starts off with making live coverage free with the exception of Championship Sunday, for all events, major and otherwise. And I don't even mind if those free broadcasts provides less coverage than the normal dgpt subscription does. And listen, I know the drums are beating loudly for a team event, some of you getting excited at that thought. Instead, this announcement should be leadership keeping it real simple by holding a bring your own doubles single day event with a large enough prize pool attached. And by large enough, I mean a total that has pros lining up their best teammates instead of their best friends. You guys are beginning to get the picture how this promotion is even bigger than the largest rubber ducky. Let it all play out to a packed crowd that only needs to show up for a single day, that allows for the fastest and best disc golf action on top. And for my top and final announcement, for selfish reasoning alone, would be eliminating that Disc Golf World media ban. And while you're at it, how about a media vote on top of it? Is that really asking too much for one of the most viewed disc golf channels out there? I don't think so, but I'm just a guy who tells dick and fart jokes at times. But listen, I want to see the comments below on what you guys think this announcement tease just might be. Now let's move on to some match play recap for the ones still paying attention to those results, despite the DGPT's lack of promotion surrounding this event. Sure, it hasn't been helped out that much, as this event thus far has seen postponements, rescheduling, and even poor weather at this week's installment. But the tour should be plastering socials with notifications, emphasized engagement posts in the lead up to the competition. Provide excitement and drama before it even starts for the fans, and give them a reason to tune in. There really was enough there to promote. It had the 2 most popular players in the sport participating. Another Kristen Lott and Silva Saarinen scheduled matchup following the battle at Ale. Simon Lizotte out there against Calvin Heimberg no less, with Ricky Wysocki in the mouth of the South Matty O battling also. Add Kona Montgomery and Jessica Weiss there for additional bonus coverage. It's enough for fans to get behind. Kristen jumped out to an early lead, winning 5 holes on the front 9, all before Silva won her first hole on 10. Kristen coasted the rest of the way for an easy victory 7-3. Matteo, facing Ricky, the owner of this track as a multiple winner there, won 4 of the first 6 holes to start off. Oram, with that early of a lead, didn't let off on the gas to allow a Ricky comeback, as Ricky only won 2 holes on the day. Simon and Calvin was a little more back and forth due to some missed putting opportunities by Lizotte. The two would be tied after 11 holes were played, only for Simon to take advantage and win the next 4 straight holes to finish the event early. And though Kona and Weiss's matchup wasn't getting much of the coverage, it turned out to be the most interesting one. They went back and forth on the first 3 holes before Weiss took control late with a 2-stroke lead after winning 11 with only 6 holes remaining. That was despite her putt looking as shaky as a US president staring down a flight of stairs. She handed Kona a point on 13 with a bad putt, but won it back after Kona missed a mando on 15, giving her a 2-stroke lead with 3 holes remaining, only to miss another putt that would have dormied Kona for the event on the very next hole. Followed that up with an OB on 17, and completed the collapse altogether on 18 with yet another missed C1 putt high on the band, as she went from earning points to getting none at all. Now let's get into a few quick hitters to get you guys back out on the course. It's Preserve Week, which means socials are filled with just as many fish pics as tees off of 11. But it's really good to know disc golf Tinder profiles are covered for at least another year, as a number of pros showed off all their catches. Shame is that it was Jakub in Europe that beat them all. AB and Austin Turner tried their hand as drill rap duo in some Nike tech, looking hard, but not as hard as Antala does with his posse and a new trophy. Chandler Kramer got his van broken into, Kyle Klein hit a concert, and some wedding pics were shared from both Tristan Tanner and Raven Newsom. Congratulations goes out to them, and Alden Harris for that matter, who doesn't appear to be that far behind as he recently proposed himself, which of course puts Gannon now on the clock as he's third-wheeling everybody in that group. And with his aura, shouldn't take that much longer. Carter Aaron signs with Emporia State Disc Golf Team, an absolute huge signing for Coach Eric McCabe. Paige Shue got to have an opening putt at a minor league game. And guys, we may be affectionately named by some as the Baked Bros, but we got nothing on the Fox News afternoon host, who surprisingly looked even more lit than us while interviewing Kayla Viska in promotion of the Preserve. And guys, that wraps up This Week in Disc Golf. I want to shout out those of you that have stayed this long for me to thank you. And of course the Patreons, the ones that got our asses over to Finland for Worlds. And like always, if you've enjoyed and not subscribed, make sure to do so. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, comment, and share.